Time now on Kiwi is 15 minutes past 7.
You're listening to the Radio Wammo Breakfast, only on Kiwi.
And now we're going to cross over to Copenhagen to chat with our correspondents over there, Daniel Nielsen, of course, from the Copenhagen Post. Hello to you, Daniel.
Good morning, Wammo. How are you?
Very well. What day are we up to in Copenhagen now?
The second to last day, if everything goes to plan.
Day number 9, I suppose that is.
Yeah, or 11 if you count the weekend.
Yeah, it's all very confusing. Now you're joining us from the conference venue again. What's the media centre there?
Yeah, I hope the picture's actually functioning. I can show you a little bit more. I'm sitting in the just out the back of the plenary hall where they have the where right now all the heads of state that are here are making 3-minute speeches. Actually, in fact, I think it's the environment ministers who are speaking at the moment. Earlier today, they had Ahmadinejad from Iran speaking, which was quite an attention grabber.
Yeah,
he
grabs attention whenever he speaks.
Yeah, it was rather like a religious sermon, actually.
And more world leaders, I suppose, are arriving there today. Obama, even New Zealand's Prime Minister as well. Now, is any agreement expected to be reached at all?
Well, things have turned from utterly pessimistic to kind of cautiously optimistic. The Danish Prime Minister, who's now the COP15 president, I don't know if you've heard, but the COP15 president, Connie Hedegaard, resigned yesterday to be replaced by the Danish Prime Minister. That's caused some speculation of a rift between the two. They presented it as a procedural move, but it hadn't been signalled, so it surprised quite a few people. But the Prime Minister, Lars Løkke Rasmussen, who has been saying all the way leading up to the conference that a legally binding agreement wasn't going to happen, he was one of the first to say that, and I guess that was realistic. He then started talking about a political agreement. In the last week or so, he's been making noises that even a political agreement's not going to happen. There's been a real sharp divide between the developing and the developed nations. They really do want different things. But today he kind of turned around and said it's going to be really, really difficult, but it's not impossible. And the mood, just the feeling around the Bella Centre here is also changing slightly. So I think something could come out of it tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Now, yesterday the protests turned violent outside as protesters tried to get into the venue, as you predicted they would.
Yes. It wasn't as many activists as expected. On the weekend there were an estimate of 50,000 people participating in the protest all the way out here to the Bella Centre. But yesterday, only about 2,000 people came out here with that plan to breach the gates and get inside and stage this people's assembly. Well, they didn't get in. They got pepper sprayed and battened and arrested. About 250 people were arrested. There was also a group of delegates coming out from the inside to join the demonstration. They were NGO representatives coming from the venue here to try to join them outside, and they were beaten back by the police as well, which isn't funny, but it's kind of strange that should happen. You could hear one of those delegates yelling at the police, saying, "We said we would be peaceful, and you've reacted with violence. Shame on you!" And then the whole crowd started chanting, "Shame on you!" at the police. So that was kind of interesting. But it seemed to die down pretty quickly. Early afternoon, there was nothing really more happening, and all the sessions went ahead as planned. There was no disruptions inside the conference either.
And Hillary Clinton is there now.
Yeah, she caused a bit of a splash today. She promised, or she pledged, $100 billion annually. I'm not sure whether it was up to 2020 or from 2020. I didn't quite catch that. But that's a kind of a promise that the US has made. But it's of course conditional on developing countries agreeing to what the US wants. And so there were some pretty pointed remarks at China. There's been a row building between China and the US here. The US does not consider China a developing nation, but China keeps saying that it is a developing nation. The US then says you're not going to get any funding from this agreement, so that's been going on. But even China now is saying that an agreement could be happening.
Pacific nation Tuvalu looks like they've been getting a bit of attention there as well.
Yeah, I went to their press conference today. Their Prime Minister what's his name? Apisai Ielemia. I'm not so good with those names, sorry, but he turned up today and he basically carried on the statements that their top negotiator Ian Fry has been making. I mean, for a country, I think it's the third smallest country in the world and the third least populated. They've been making some real noise. They're getting a lot of media attention. He said today, the Prime Minister of Tuvalu said that he would not be selling his island, or what was the exact quote? He was saying things like, we're going to leave with a bitter taste in our mouths. He said that the whole conference has been not done transparently, and he said that it's amazing that the US is not considering humanity with its proposals. Tuvalu's very angry and definitely making it heard. Well, they will not be signing an agreement if it's not agreed that the temperature rise target should be 1 point. They're not going to agree to 2 degrees, which is what most people want. They're going to agree to 1.5 degrees.
Right, and so I guess they should be angry. I mean, it's one of the countries that is actually directly affected, and they can actually see climate change happening where they live right now.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit skeptical. I remember reading a story in New Zealand Geographic, I think in 2005, which totally rejected the idea that Tuvalu was sinking. And I kind of respect New Zealand Geographic, but I don't know, maybe I'm not really sure. I'm not an expert on climate change.
Now, the conference apparently not immune to the celebrity pull there as well, and the celebrity factor.
Yeah, well, Arnie was around. I don't think he got into this conference. He might have been at one of the other events around town, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. The paper that I'm part of producing, the COP15 Post, it seems that every day on our front page we have another celebrity. We've had Arnie, we've had Al Gore, we had Desmond Tutu, we had Prince Charles the other day. It's they may be well known for a good reason, but yeah, it's definitely a high profile event.
What about musicians as well?
Oh yeah, Thom Yorke's arriving today. I forgot to tell you. The Radiohead frontman. He's going to be speaking at 8 o'clock in about half an hour here in the Bella Centre. So I'll definitely be going there. And I'm wearing a white T-shirt for him to sign. So,
and obviously he will be putting forward the greener side of the debates there.
Oh, he'll be telling us that his kids are taking shorter showers and that he's now driving an electric car. One of his 20 cars is probably electric now. I don't know. You know what they usually say, these celebrities. I know that Thom Yorke's pretty credible, so I'm really interested to hear what he has to say.
Yeah. All right, well, we look forward to having a post-conference wrap-up next week, Daniel.
Cheers.
Daniel Nielsen, our correspondent from the Copenhagen Post, live from the Bella Centre over there in Copenhagen. Here's a track from Tommy Ill. This here is called Come Home, Mr.